Lil Wayne once hit Birdman with a jaw-dropping $51 million lawsuit, calling himself a prisoner, and right in the middle of all that chaos, his tour bus got shot up.
You know, my mama went to school with him. My mama was so scared for me to even be involved with him.
Things went downhill fast. Juvenile, another Cash Money legend, walked away from a quadruple platinum run, took the label to court, and said those contracts were so bad, he wouldn't see a dime in royalties for years. After years of broken deals, missing payments, and promises that never came true, rappers from every generation started stepping up, exposing why they had major issues with Birdman and Cash Money. The drama cut deep in the hip-hop world, especially when it came to the one story that truly broke fans' hearts, the fallout between Lil Wayne and Birdman. Now, for anyone who doesn't know the roots of this messy history, Lil Wayne met Birdman when he was just a kid from the streets of New Orleans. Birdman, known back then as Baby, took Wayne under his wing like a father figure and signed him to Cash Money Records when Wayne was only about 9 or 11 years old. Wayne has talked many times about how strong Birdman's reputation was in those New Orleans streets. This wasn't just some music executive. This was someone whose name already held power long before he ever dropped a track. Wayne once shared how even his own mama had a strong reaction when he signed with Baby, because everyone in New Orleans knew who Birdman was. His name had weight long before fame ever came knocking. After Wayne's biological dad left and his stepdad was tragically killed, Birdman stepped in as that father figure he never had. Their bond ran so deep that old photos surfaced of them kissing on the lips, a moment Birdman always explained as a father-to-son kind of thing. That's how close they were. But by 2014, that tight bond shattered, and the world watched Lil Wayne and Birdman's relationship fall apart right before everyone's eyes. The real problem blew up when Lil Wayne said Birdman was holding his album, The Carter 5, hostage. He claimed Birdman wasn't paying him the money he was owed and was basically keeping him stuck on the label like a prisoner. Back in 2005, Wayne had launched Young Money Entertainment under Cash Money, signing superstars like Drake and Nicki Minaj. Their deal was messy from the start. Cash Money owned 51% of Young Money, while Wayne held 49%. It sounded like teamwork on paper, but that setup planted the seeds for major drama later. Then came December 4th, 2014, when Wayne jumped on Twitter and dropped a bomb. "I want off this label and nothing to do with these people. I'm a prisoner and so is my creativity." That post shook hip-hop to its core. Wayne wasn't just any artist. He built Cash Money's legacy. Even his manager, Cortez Bryant, spoke out, saying Wayne had carried the label for over a decade.
In New Orleans, you know, that name way before there was rap, before there was a Cash Money Records, that name held weight.
Right.
You know, my mama went to school with him.
Right.
My mama was so scared for me to even be involved with him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? All she would say was like, "Boy, that boy was 14 with $1 million. Like, ain't nobody on it now. I don't know how you got it. That was 14, I don't know." She was scared.
Things got so bad that by January 2015, Wayne officially sued Cash Money for $51 million, saying they owed him $8 million for The Carter 5 and another $2 million for finishing it. He also claimed Birdman had mishandled over $70 million from a $100 million Young Money advance meant for royalties and promotion. Wayne even accused Birdman and Universal of working together to use his profits to help cover Birdman's $70 million debt. It was a wild situation that just kept getting worse. Then came the craziest twist. In April 2015, Wayne's tour bus got shot up in Atlanta after a show. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but investigators tied the attack to people linked with Birdman and Young Thug through phone records. A man named Pee Wee Roscoe, connected to Thug, was sentenced to 10 years. Even though Birdman and Thug were never charged, rumors started flying that Birdman was trying to replace Wayne with Thug, who even planned to drop an album called Carter 6, but later changed it to Barter 6. By 2018, the long and ugly feud finally came to an end. Lil Wayne walked away with over $10 million, gained full control of his music under Universal, and was officially free from Cash Money. That same year, The Carter 5 finally dropped in September, exploding onto the charts with 480,000 first-week units. Not long after, Wayne and Birdman shocked everyone by reconciling, hugging it out at Club Live, with Birdman posting "Me and my son" on Instagram, and even apologizing on stage at the Lil Louisiana Fest. What a turnaround. For a while, though, it really seemed like a father-son bond had been torn apart over money. But before Wayne's situation even blew up, Juvenile had already shown that Cash Money had a pattern. This man wasn't just any artist. He was a cornerstone of the label, dropping timeless hits like 400 Degrees in 1998, which went quadruple platinum, and anthems like Ha and Back That Ass Up that still shake parties to this day. His follow-ups kept the fire going. The G Code went double platinum, Project English went platinum, and Juve the Great went platinum too, with Slow Motion hitting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, how did Juvenile even link up with Birdman? After leaving Warlock Records over creative issues, Juvie was trying to move beyond bounce music when he ran into Birdman at a New Orleans bus stop. Birdman was blown away by his freestyle and quickly connected him with legendary producer Manny Fresh. Another reason Juvenile chose Cash Money was because of a heated rivalry in the city, Cash Money versus Master P's No Limit Records. That tension, especially involving No Limit's artist Mystical, pushed Juvie toward Birdman's camp. But by the early 2000s, around 2001 or 2002, Juvenile had enough. He walked away from Cash Money, saying he wasn't getting paid right, and later found out through his lawyer that the contracts were so poorly written, he wouldn't see royalties for years. He even said Cash Money was using a criminal lawyer to handle their entertainment business, something that just didn't make sense for artists trying to protect their money. The contracts at Cash Money were a total mess. Paperwork was sloppy, filings got botched, and artists kept losing in court. In interviews, Juvenile explained it wasn't personal beef. He said, "Beef wasn't no personal. I don't like this guy. It was strictly business mishandling." Still, he accused Birdman and Slim of taking the biggest slice of the pie, while he, Turk, and BG got cheated out of their earnings. Juvenile even took Cash Money to court in 2003, demanding $4 million in unpaid royalties, but eventually settling for about $1.1 million. He reportedly promised to punish the label financially and called Birdman out for damaging his name in the streets. Birdman clapped back in interviews, calling Juvenile a failure and claiming his solo career flopped. He even said, Juvenile left threatening voicemails. Things went from business to personal in no time. Now let's talk about BG, a true New Orleans legend, one of the original Hot Boys. He signed to Cash Money at just 12 years old, right alongside an 11-year-old Lil Wayne. BG gave the world Bling Bling, the hit that literally added a word to the dictionary and became the soundtrack of the late 90s.
I know Birdman. I know him.
Man, Birdman raised me, bro. You heard me? You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like, you know, that's like a father figure to me. You know what I'm saying? Him and Slim. You know what I mean? I got the utmost love for him. I love that. Respect for him.
His 1999 album, Chopper City in the Ghetto, helped Cash Money secure that massive $30 million Universal Records deal in 1998. But like the others, BG walked away in the early 2000s, frustrated over missing money and shady paperwork. He claimed he got nothing for contributing to nearly 80 songs and never saw a single royalty check from his early albums before 1998. By 2001, BG, Juvenile, and Turk had all left Cash Money, blasting the label for bad accounting and unpaid royalties. They ended up suing and settling in 2003, but the damage was done. The trust was gone. BG later spent more than a decade behind bars on gun-related charges, but his name still carries serious respect in the culture. BG got arrested back in 2009 and was sentenced to 14 years, serving 11 before finally walking free on September 5th, 2023. While locked up, he said Cash Money gave him zero support, which only made that old anger about unpaid money grow stronger. But when he finally came home, guess who was waiting for him? Birdman. He showed up personally, greeted BG with open arms, handed him a Cash Money chain, and even gifted him $1 million. Still, the tension wasn't gone just yet. During his time inside, BG dropped a diss record aimed straight at Cash Money while working through his emotions. Then in January 2024, he jumped on Finesse 2 times TFI and even threw a shot at Lil Wayne for not sending him money during his bid. Fans thought that move was gonna blow up into another huge beef, but BG later broke down what really happened. He said when he's emotional, he just lets it all out in the booth. It's therapy, straight from the heart, and Birdman understood that because their history runs way too deep. BG reminded everyone how his mom's house was a stash spot back in the 80s, showing how far back his and Birdman's bond really goes. Now when it comes to being vocal about the Cash Money drama, Hot Boy Turk takes the crown. He's been going back and forth with Birdman and even some of his Hot Boys brothers for years. And unlike BG, Turk's situation with Cash Money is still not settled. Discovered by Birdman at just 13 years old, Turk joined forces with Wayne, Juvenile, and BG to form the Hot Boys. Their debut, Get It How You Live, 1997, sold 400,000 copies. And their second album, Guerrilla Warfare, 1999, went crazy, hitting #1 on the R&B hip-hop chart and landing at number 5 on the Billboard 200. But by 2003, Turk had also walked away, joining Juvenile and BG and leaving Cash Money over, you guessed it, unpaid royalties. Turk said he got zero payment for contributing to nearly 80 tracks while on Cash Money. His life took a sharp turn after a 2004 drug raid that led to a SWAT shootout, landing him a 14-year sentence. He served nearly 9 years before being released in 2012. But when he got out, things didn't go how he expected. Unlike BG, who got a warm welcome, a Cash Money chain, and even a $1 million gift, Turk said Birdman didn't even acknowledge his release. That silence hit deep and said everything without a word. By 2015, Turk was done staying quiet. He hit Cash Money with a lawsuit for his music rights and over $1 million in damages, claiming the contracts were invalid because of bad accounting. The case settled privately for around $1.3 million, which Turk later described as a small severance check that didn't include his publishing rights. He briefly re-signed with the label in 2016, but nothing really came from it. Then came the new wave of drama, the failed Hot Boys reunion. Turk was supposed to join the 2025 30th anniversary tour, but everything fell apart fast. When he refused to take a pay cut, things exploded. Turk said all that talk about security issues was straight cap. It got even messier during the Cash Money versus No Limit Versus battle in October 2025. From the stage, Birdman publicly called Turk a little one, saying, "We roll with you when we want to." Turk wasn't even invited. He was watching from home, hosting his own watch party instead. After that, Turk fired back at BG, calling him anti-BG and even clowning his fit from the Versus battle. Things went from awkward to ugly real quick. The tension only got worse when Turk sued tour promoters for $300,000 and they hit back with a $12 million countersuit, accusing him of sabotaging the reunion tour.
Oh, you expect me to take a pay cut in the next city on top of taking a loss? You feel me? That I ain't getting none of my back end? Nah, I need all my money when we go to Cleveland. You feel me? Once I said that, I thought everything was cool, understood, but they had a cake baked for me, I guess. That's what they think. 4 o'clock in the morning, they sent my manager an email saying that I'm terminated. You know, that I was a security threat.
This feud, it's far from over, and it looks like the Cash Money family drama is still alive and kicking. Turk said he got zero payment for contributing to nearly 80 tracks while on Cash Money. After that, his life flipped upside down. He got caught up in a 2004 drug raid that turned into a SWAT shootout, leading to a 14-year sentence. He served almost 9 years before getting released in 2012, but when he came home, he didn't get the warm welcome he expected. Birdman didn't even reach out. And for Turk, that silence spoke louder than words, especially since BG came home to a Cash Money chain and a rumored $1 million gift. By 2015, Turk had enough and took Cash Money to court for over $1 million, demanding control over his music and claiming his contracts were invalid due to bad accounting. The case was eventually settled out of court for about $1.3 million, which Turk later called severance money, but it didn't include his publishing rights. He re-signed with Cash Money briefly in 2016, but nothing came out of it. The real fireworks came later with the Hot Boys reunion drama. Turk was supposed to join the 2025 30th anniversary tour, but things went south fast when he refused to take a pay cut. The label claimed security issues, but Turk called that excuse straight cap. Then, at the Cash Money versus No Limit Versus battle in October 2025, Birdman threw public shade at Turk from the stage, saying, "We roll with you when we want to." Turk wasn't even invited. He was watching from home, hosting his own watch party instead. After that, he he fired back online, clowning BG for being anti-BG and roasting his outfit from the Verzoos. Things got ugly fast. It didn't stop there. Turk went on to sue tour promoters for $300,000, and they hit back with a $12 million countersuit, accusing him of ruining the reunion tour. This feud, it's still wide open, and the Cash Money drama just won't die down. Now, if we're talking about who truly built the Cash Money sound, we've got to show major respect to Manny Fresh. This dude was the heartbeat of that label, producing nearly every hit they dropped in the late 90s and early 2000s. We're talking about classics like Back That Ass Up, Still Fly, Go DJ, and Bling Bling. All of that magic came from Manny Fresh's hands. He joined Cash Money around 1993, crafting a sound filled with heavy bass, crazy synths, and that signature New Orleans bounce. But Manny wasn't just a producer. He was also half of the Big Timers duo with Birdman, dropping the platinum-selling album Hood Rich in 2002. Early on, Manny gave Cash Money props for showing artists how to move independently and own their hustle. But by 2005, things started cracking. Manny left the label, citing money problems and wanting more creative freedom. He wanted to branch out beyond hip-hop into rock and gospel. But the real issue was the money. He said he was clearing $50,000 per beat. But what he saw in the label's flashy lifestyle didn't match the numbers he was being shown. That raised big red flags. Manny later explained that part of the problem was what he called homeboy business. He said, when your homies or family are running your business without knowing what they're doing, things fall apart. He warned artists that your friend can't be your manager and he can't be your lawyer. If a company doesn't want you to have real professionals around you, then you shouldn't be with that company. When Manny walked away, Birdman didn't take it lightly. In a 2006 interview, he reportedly threw shade, calling Manny disloyal and questioning his commitment. Manny ended up suing Cash Money that same year and settled for an undisclosed amount, keeping control over some of his masters. But even by 2010, he said he was still chasing royalties. Looking back, Manny called it a hard lesson about trust, money, and friendship in the music game. After leaving Cash Money, Manny Fresh joined Def Jam South, where he produced hits for Jeezy and dropped his own project, The Mind of Manny Fresh, in 2005, a moment he called a major turning point after a rough and uncertain stretch. But the next chapter in the Cash Money saga? Oh, this one's spicy. We're talking about Gilly the Kid, the Philly rapper who's been claiming for years that he was the one who ghost wrote for Lil Wayne back in the early 2000s. According to Gilly, he helped sharpen Wayne's flow and even contributed bars to Thaw Carter and other major Cash Money projects. But Birdman and Wayne have both denied those claims every single time. Gilly was actually signed to Cash Money for a short stint in the early 2000s, but things quickly turned sour. By 2003, he walked away after money disputes, saying he was promised a $200,000 signing bonus that never came through. He also said he got caught up in bad publishing deals and shady contract moves that left him with nothing.
It's the first time you're hearing about a security
risk?
Yeah,
because where was our security threat before when you offered me to take less of my...
Birdman, on the other hand, has always fired back hard, saying Gilly's story is pure fiction. In 2023, Birdman even stated, "I ain't never made $1 off Gilly, and he for sure ain't never wrote one rhyme for Lil Wayne." That statement reignited one of hip-hop's longest-running debates. The tension had already been brewing for years through diss tracks and DVD interviews that fueled the streets. Back in 2006, Lil Wayne threw shots at Gilly on Problem Solver from the Carter II mixtape, and later on, the Like Father, Like Son era. Gilly hit back just as hard, popping up on Cheddar DVD Volume 6, making wild accusations, saying he loaned Wayne jewelry for videos, gave him business advice, and even exposed what he called fake behavior inside the Cash Money circle. But just when fans thought the feud had cooled off, it sparked back up in 2023. During a clubhouse session with Whack 100, Birdman claimed he lost all respect for Gilly after allegedly seeing Beanie Siegel slap him inside a Philadelphia store. According to Birdman's version, Gilly was supposedly armed and deep with his crew, but didn't react. Something Birdman said proved Gilly wasn't really like that. Of course, Gilly didn't stay quiet. He jumped online and fired back in a video, brushing off Birdman's comments and clowning him for waiting so long to bring up the story. This beef might be old, But every time someone mentions it, sparks start flying all over again. Gilly the Kid clapped back hard, saying, "Why Birdman wait so long to say something? It took you 25 years to grow a heart." He bragged about where he's at now, saying, "I'm bigger than Baby. I make more money than him right now." Gilly went all in, calling Birdman a coward and denying the whole Beanie Siegel story as total fiction. But here's the twist. Despite all the heat between them, Gilly admitted that he still respects Birdman's hustle. At 48 years old, Gilly says he's focused on family, legacy, and real growth instead of rehashing old beef. He's even said that the feud was more about past frustrations than any current animosity. And that's saying something, because even after all the disses and drama, Gilly still gave Birdman props for being one of the most relentless businessmen in hip-hop. But now, it's time to talk about a feud that's been boiling for over 2 decades. One that runs deep, Pusha T versus Birdman and the entire Cash Money camp. This beef has layers on layers. It all started back in 2002, when Birdman allegedly didn't pay the Neptunes properly for producing What Happened to That Boy, the hit track featuring Clips, Pusha T, and No Malice. After that dispute, Pharrell Williams reportedly refused to work with Cash Money ever again, feeling disrespected over how the payment situation was handled. And since Pusha T was Pharrell's close collaborator under the Star Trek banner, he took that slight personally. That one incident became the root of decades of tension. Things really started heating up when Lil Wayne began rocking Bape gear, the Japanese streetwear style that Pharrell and Clips had made popular through their friendship with Nigo, the brand's founder. By 2006, it was full-on shade. When Lil Wayne landed on the Vibe magazine cover, dressed head to toe in BAPE, Clips dropped Mr. Me Too featuring Pharrell, loaded with slick lines like, "Wanna know the time? Better clock us," and "Nah, bite the style from the shoes to the watches." Those bars were widely seen as shots at Wayne, accusing him of copying their style. And of course, Wayne didn't stay quiet. He clapped back in a complex interview that December, firing off his own words and pushing the tension between Cash Money and Clips to a whole new level. When Lil Wayne fired back at Clips, he didn't hold back. He said, "I don't see no Clips. They had to do a song with us to get hot." He even threw shade at Pharrell, saying, "Who is Pharrell? Y'all used to think he was weird with that tight fashion and wild look." That interview added even more fuel to the fire, and the quiet tension between Cash Money and Clips turned into an all-out feud.
He said one thing he respects about Birdman is the hustle, and that's one thing everybody has got to respect about Birdman. Can't nobody say they out-hustle Birdman from the very start. Hey, we know what he allegedly did back in his teens and stuff like that. He was outside in them streets, all of that stuff. Been documented and confirmed, you feel me? Now, fast forward, he built Cash Money from the ground up with his brother, had a bunch of local artists and made them national artists. He took those national artists and made them global superstars. We're talking about Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Juvenile, BG, Turk, the Hot Boys. Manny Fresh made him one of the greatest producers of all time.
Fast forward to 2012, and Pusha T took things to a new level when he dropped Exodus 23:1, one of the boldest diss tracks in hip-hop history. In the song, he spit, "Contract all messed up, I guess that means you all messed up. You signed to one that signed to another that signed to 3. Now that's bad love." Everyone knew what that meant. It was a direct hit at Drake, Young Money, Cash Money, and the whole Universal deal chain under Birdman's control. Pusha was calling out the confusing contract layers that left artists stuck and underpaid. Lil Wayne didn't waste time clapping back. He jumped on Twitter saying, "F Pusha T and anybody that loves him," and then dropped the diss record Ghoulish right after. But Pusha didn't flinch. He went on Hot 97, called Wayne's response horrible and trash, and kept the smoke alive. Even years later, in July 2025, Pusha was still firing shots. On his track Damage Control with Whale, he rapped, "The realest Birdman, I just cock-a-doodle-doo, doorstep to doorstep, I get it right through. Money Talk, Wrist Light Blue, Sugar Hill, Sweetest Feeling Type 2. Bruised egos, man, you might sue that." That "you might sue that" bar was a clever jab referencing Drake's lawsuit against Universal Music Group. That means this beef has lasted over 20 years and Pusha still won't let up. He even told GQ that all these lawsuits and contract drama have made hip-hop battles less real, saying the game's turned too corporate. And speaking of broken alliances, let's talk about Rick Ross and Birdman. These two used to be tight, real tight. They were Southern rap powerhouses. Ross repping Miami and Birdman holding down New Orleans. In 2008, they even teamed up for a joint project called The H, which later dropped as a mixtape in May 2013, hosted by DJ Khaled. But as time went on, Ross started seeing how Birdman was treating Lil Wayne during their ugly public fallout, and that's when the respect started to fade fast. What started as brotherly love and creative synergy quickly turned into another messy chapter in the Cash Money legacy. In 2015, Rick Ross dropped Color Money, where he subtly threw shade at the whole Cash Money drama. Then in 2016, he jumped on Snapchat mocking the idea of a Birdman and Lil Wayne reunion, even sending roses to Charlemagne Tha after Birdman's viral "Put Some Respect on My Name" meltdown on The Breakfast Club. But things hit their breaking point in March 2017 when Ross dropped one of his most talked about diss tracks ever, "Idols Become Rivals," off his album Rather You Than Me. Over a soulful Chris Rock sample, Ross poured his heart out, talking about betrayal and disappointment. He rapped, "You would give us self-esteem and motivate our drive, but you was in our pockets by the time we count to 5. I pray you find the kindness in your heart for Wayne. His entire life, he gave you what there was to gain." By October 2014, Tyga had reached his breaking point. He jumped on Twitter calling out Cash Money, saying they were holding his album hostage. His post read, "The gold album been done, my album been done, but my label holding me hostage so I can't release nothing." That tweet went viral instantly, and fans realized this wasn't just Tyga's fight. It was part of a bigger wave of frustration hitting both Young Money and Cash Money, right alongside Lil Wayne's battle over Thaw Carter 5. When Birdman was asked about it in an XXL interview, he tried to play it cool, saying the situation was not cool, but staying neutral, refusing to take direct shots at Tyga. But by 2015, Tyga made his move. He officially cut ties with Cash Money, dropped the gold album 18th Dynasty independently through his own label, Last Kings Records, and started taking control of his career. Still, Tyga wasn't done speaking up. In 2017, he went on The Breakfast Club and dropped a bomb, saying Cash Money owed him between $12 and $15 million in unpaid royalties. He said he never got what he earned from hits like Rack City and other major singles. But instead of running to court right away, Tyga said he wanted to wait until Lil Wayne's case got settled, explaining, "I just want Wayne to get what he's owed first." Then, in August 2018, Tyga finally filed a lawsuit against Birdman, Lil Wayne, Cash Money, and Young Money, claiming breach of contract. Early reports said the case was for $1 million, but leaked court docs later showed Tyga was actually going after $10 million, focusing on unpaid royalties from albums like Careless World and Hotel California, plus bangers like Faded and Make It Nasty. But then came the twist. Birdman clapped back. He said Tyga didn't deserve any payout because he actually owed Cash Money money. According to Birdman, Tyga's royalty account was deep in the red from unrecouped advances and label expenses. That flipped the entire narrative, making it look like Tyga was the one in debt. By April 2019, Tyga quietly dropped the lawsuit without a settlement. No checks, no payout, just silence. It was one more messy chapter in Cash Money's long history of artists fighting for their money. After negotiations fell apart, insiders said both Tyga and Birdman couldn't find common ground, mainly because of Birdman's counterclaims about unrecouped advances. In the end, the lawsuit was closed without prejudice, meaning Tyga could reopen it later if he wanted, but nothing major happened after that. Still, by 2022, Birdman revisited the topic again, denying Tyga's $12 million claim, saying the numbers never added up. And now, let's fast forward to the most recent and dramatic chapter in this saga, NBA YoungBoy. This young star from Baton Rouge became one of the biggest names in hip-hop. And around 2018, Birdman took him under his wing, calling him the biggest rapper alive, and even saying he could become a billion-dollar artist. Fans couldn't help but notice Birdman was comparing YoungBoy to a young Lil Wayne. In 2021, the two dropped a joint project called From the Bayou, a record that fused their Louisiana roots and gritty Southern sounds. It felt like Birdman was grooming YoungBoy to carry the Cash Money legacy into a new era. But not everyone thought that was a good idea. Even Lil Wayne himself seemed to issue a quiet warning. On Wayne's 2020 track Multiple Flows, with Lil Uzi Vert, he subtly rapped, "I told YoungBoy to watch out for old head," which many fans interpreted as a warning about Birdman's track record with his artists. Then came June 2024, and things took a dark turn. NBA YoungBoy dropped a haunting track called Tears of War, which he said was his last song recorded before a police raid on his home that April. In the song, he rapped, "Knew that Stunna never loved me, should have listened to the Carter," referencing Birdman, Stunna, and Lil Wayne, Thaw Carter, a direct nod to Wayne's warning. He also called out Floyd Mayweather and mentioned people in his circle who he felt betrayed him, painting a picture of deep distrust and disappointment. XXL magazine reported that YoungBoy's lyrics made it clear he felt Birdman had turned his back on him, despite all the praise and promises. Fans were divided online. On Reddit, some said the track was fire and emotional, while others thought it was more venting than a full diss, saying it still carried YoungBoy's usual intensity without going all out at Birdman. But here's the wild twist. By mid-2025, everything flipped. Out of nowhere, rumors started swirling that Birdman and YoungBoy had reconnected, setting the stage for one of the most surprising turnarounds in recent hip-hop history. By mid-2025, things took a shocking turn. NBA, YoungBoy and Birdman were back together again. They reunited in New Orleans, where YoungBoy was spotted wearing a bulletproof vest, tossing stacks of cash to fans in the streets alongside Birdman. A wild sight that screamed truce. After all the tension and public accusations of no support, this moment felt like the ice had finally melted. By September, Birdman even joined YoungBoy's Make America Slime Again tour, publicly saying, "I'm not about to let my lil bro mess up his money." That tour turned out to be massive, reportedly grossing over $70 million worldwide. The two performed 100 rounds live for the first time in October, and then dropped a new joint track featuring Herm Thaw Black Sheep. During the Cash Money vs. No Limit Versus battle, Birdman gave YoungBoy a huge shout out on stage, declaring, "As long as I'm alive, Cash Money ain't never gonna die. Shout out YB Rich Gang. Who don't like it, that's on them." That statement sealed it. The new generation of Cash Money energy was alive and thriving again. Birdman has since spoken proudly about YoungBoy's future, predicting he could lock in a $200 to $300 million deal, calling him a once-in-a-generation artist with that special spark. For now, it seems their relationship has found peace. But the fact that even YoungBoy went through that same cycle of trust, fallout, and reunion shows the repeating pattern that has followed Birdman's legacy for decades. And that wraps up today's breakdown of Cash Money's biggest controversies and comebacks. From Lil Wayne to Juvenile, BG, Turk, Manny Fresh, Tyga, and now NBA YoungBoy. One thing's clear. Birdman's story is full of drama, loyalty, and lessons about power in the rap game. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more explosive hip-hop deep dives. And click the cards on screen to keep the story going.